And in the tech world, there's new concerns over the safety of artificial intelligence.
Kind of alarming sounding Reddit-style posts that were on there, all the way to the fact that they were starting a religion on that site being distributed by the NPM registry. I know, sounds pretty awful, but that was 2 days and 10 hours ago. Everything since then has gotten significantly worse, and
Bill Gates is reportedly in full crisis mode as cybersecurity specialists deliver a stark warning about a fast-spreading digital threat known as Chatbot. What began as an ambitious artificial intelligence tool has quickly spiraled into a headline-grabbing security crisis, raising serious alarms across the Windows world. Experts say the situation is escalating at a pace few expected. Reports of exposed systems, stolen API credentials, and even verified remote takeovers have rattled the tech community. Security analysts now fear that Chatbot could transform ordinary Windows computers into easy entry points for attackers, turning everyday machines into vulnerable gateways across the internet.
I have never seen a social network created and destroyed this fast. That the LLMs, the AIs, they have their own social network. That's right. This social network right here, of course, was styled after Reddit, the place of humanity's best and brightest. You know, nothing is going to cause an alignment problem like creating a social network in the style of Reddit.
The timeline behind the crisis reads like a tech thriller unfolding in real time. Between January 27th and February 9th of 2026, the OpenClaw framework shifted from a promising AI automation platform into the center of a massive cybersecurity emergency. In less than 3 weeks, researchers documented more than 135,000 exposed instances operating across 82 countries. Even more alarming, over 12,800 of those systems were confirmed to have real remote exploitation paths that allowed attackers to run code directly on affected machines. During the same window, investigators uncovered another disturbing detail. Around 1.5 million authentication tokens were exposed after a database mismatch tied to active deployments. These weren't harmless test credentials sitting in a lab environment. They were real keys connected to live production services.
72 hours. That's all it took for the internet's hottest AI project,
Chatbot.
Chatbot, to completely implode.
The explosive growth of the exposure shocked researchers tracking the situation. Toward the end of January, analysts initially detected roughly 1,000 publicly reachable instances of the platform. Just days later, the figure jumped to 10,000. By February 9th, the number had ballooned to more than 135,000. The cause turned out to be a fundamental design choice. OpenClaw's default configuration bound its service to the network address 0.0.0.0 on port 18,789. In simple terms, that meant the system listened on every available network interface, including those exposed directly to the public internet. Without authentication, safeguards enabled by default, any device with that port visible to the outside world effectively became an open doorway waiting to be discovered.
Chatbot was built as what was supposed to be a fun side project by Peter Steinberger. Peter's a tech founder, he shipped a bunch of cool things, he's made a bunch of money on his company's exit, and he spent the last 3 years taking a break doing
blackjack and hookers.
As researchers scanned the internet for Chatbot's signature, the results were staggering. Open dashboards appeared everywhere, revealing sensitive data in plain sight. Investigators found exposed Anthropic API keys, Slack OAuth tokens, and Telegram credentials. GitHub access tokens and entire conversation logs were sitting on publicly accessible panels. Many dashboards displayed full configuration menus without any protection at all. The exposure wasn't hidden deep. It was directly in front of anyone who knew where to look. The crisis intensified with CVE 202625253, a remote code execution flaw. It was rated 8.8 on the CVSS severity scale, indicating a critical threat. The weakness centered on a gateway URL parameter inside the OpenClaw interface. A crafted link could trick a user into clicking it, establishing a connection to a malicious server. During that brief handshake, the system would unknowingly transmit its authentication token, giving the attacker administrative control in seconds.
AI safety resigned this Monday. Marinak Sharma writing in a post on X that the world is in peril, and not just from AI or bioweapons, but from a whole series of interconnected crises unfolding in this very moment. And Sharma went on to say that
even systems configured to run locally weren't entirely safe from the exploit, because the attack relied on the victim's own browser initiating the outbound connection. The traffic appeared legitimate to the machine itself. Traditional defenses like firewall rules or restricted interfaces often failed to stop it. Once attackers obtained access, they could manipulate the system's sandbox settings and execute commands directly on the underlying Windows machine. A patch released in version the 29th of January 2026 eventually closed the gateway vulnerability. But updates spread slowly while the number of exposed installations continued to rise. Security analysts say the real danger came from the combination of several problems unfolding at once. Tens of thousands of publicly accessible instances were already online. A simple one-click exploit allowed attackers to seize control of those systems. At the same time, roughly 1.5 million authentication tokens connected to real services were left exposed. Adding to the risk, many deployments stored sensitive credentials in plain text environment files on Windows desktops. These files frequently contained OpenAI keys, GitHub tokens, Slack credentials, cloud service secrets, and database access strings. In many cases, attackers didn't need to break encryption or bypass sophisticated defenses. All they needed was simple file access.
This was an AI assistant that actually did things for you. Persistent memory across conversations, full system access to your computer, over 50 integrations.